G'day guys, Victorian High Country tips over the summer months and what should you consider during the peak fire season? Well, let's have a chat about that. Well, for starters, the Victorian High Country covers a massive area. It's nearly 1 million hectares in size, and a stack of people are exploring the area during the peak bushfire season. Now, the peak holiday time for a lot of people is between mid-December right through to mid-February, and that is smack in the middle of peak bushfire season. And one of the main contributing factors to a bushfire starting is from a dry storm. Now, a dry storm, what do I mean by that? Well, a dry storm is when there's no rain or very little of, but plenty of thunder going on. And when there's thunder, there's lightning. Now, dry storms are a potential hazard for where you are. And don't ignore these dry storms if they're going on around where you're camping. Now, I'm not saying as soon as you start hearing thunder and see lightning cracking in the sky that you've now got to pack up and head home. But what I am saying is you need to monitor these situations very closely, particularly if you do have, those dry storms that are going on around where you're camping. Now, tune into things like ABC Radio 774 and that AM dial. That is really good for getting any weather updates and certainly around the state. But more importantly is that Vic Emergency app. Now, I won't go into a lot of detail how that sort of works at the moment, but I'll throw a link up here. Check out that video there and I go into a lot more detail about how those apps work. But the Vic Emergency app, if you've got some phone reception, just tune into that and that'll certainly give you any instant notifications of any bushfires that may have started from any lightning strikes around where you're camping. But unfortunately, if you haven't got phone reception, maybe you might know somewhere, where there's not too far from camp where you can go and grab a bit of phone reception. Well, go for a quick drive, take your mobile phone up there and just open that app up and just see if there's any bushfires that have started, that have been, registered, that have started in those areas around where you're camping. And if you are camping out there in the Victorian High Country, over those high 30s to low 40-degree days and even hotter, well, they are great days just to kick back at camp, maybe by a river or something like that, just kick back and relax, rather than going out there in your full drive and doing all these steep tracks, because then you run a high risk of overheating your motor, because your engine's going to be working overtime enough as it is without the high temperatures you're already experiencing adding to the stress that's going to go on with your motor. So stick around at camp on those days and kick back by a river and just enjoy where you are, I reckon. And if you are going to be moving on, packing up camp and moving on to another one, just make sure that your campfire is well and truly put out. Now, I'll put another link to another video that I've done recently about how to put your campfires out and why, but it's just such a bad habit to get into, to drive away and leave either your campfire still burning or even just hot coals in it. So get plenty of water on it and make sure that fire is well and truly put out, and then that reduces the risk of any potential bushfire starting from those campfires. But it's, just a really bad habit. Doesn't matter what time of year it is. If you're camping out in the middle of winter or even the snow, don't ever leave campfires going. Make sure they're out at any time of the year. And the other thing you need to consider too is on those total fire ban days. Now, when there's total fire ban days, there's absolutely no go zone, no campfires at all. So you need to come prepared with, as far as your food goes, for your lunch or your dinner, to be able to make something or have your dinner, have those meals where you're not relying on a campfire to make it. And the other thing you need to take into account when it comes to total fire ban days is, how do you find out about them? Well, ABC Radio 774 and that AM dial is an excellent way to certainly stay in touch with any total fire ban days. And that's another reason why I have this big long whip aerial on the front of my patrol here. So I get good range, good reception to stay in touch with that one station in particular. And the other one is, the Vic Emergency app. As I've said many times, everyone should have this Vic Emergency app on their phone to stay in touch with what's going on. That'll be all over any total fire ban days. We'll certainly get instant notification on that app. And the other thing too, if you get any Parks Victoria rangers rolling through your camp where you are, well, go and have a chat with those guys, because they are a wealth of knowledge on what's going on as far as weather and that sort of stuff. So they'll be able to give you any valuable information, any questions you've got. They'll certainly be able to answer all the ones that you want to know about, whether it be total fire ban days, the weather, whatever's going on. Those guys are all over it. Well, there you go, guys. Hopefully those Victorian High Country tips that I've just given you are going to help you out if you're going to be travelling down here in the Vic High Country over those summer months. And if you've got any extra advice you'd like to add to this, please put it in the comments down below, and that way everyone can get some great, good, helpful information, particularly over this time of year. But until then, look forward to seeing you guys out in the bush someday.